It is true that slaves brought to America were forced to take European Christian names, and some were pressured to become Christians. I have one. It is also true that the millions of African slaves sold into Muslim Middle East were forced to accept Arabic names and the Islamic religion. Slavery is evil, and this practice of forced conversion always seems to be a part of it. Today I ask, are you enslaved? If the answer is yes, then you know your journey to enlightenment. If the answer is no, then you do have some homework to accomplish internally to accept your correct spiritual compass. There is no question God's people today are from every people, race, language, and nation on earth. Hate has no place. The origin of religion can generally be traced to the ancient Near East and classified in three basic categories: polytheistic, pantheistic, and monotheistic. Atheism is really a modern belief that resulted from the Enlightenment period of the 18th century. The original religion of the African and American cultures were found to be animism, the worship of spirits. And there is no doubt that most of the slaves were animists. The Islamic religion has been growing in Africa, but so has Christianity. Check original books of Acts. In fact, Christianity in Africa goes back to the Ethiopian eunuch mentioned in the book of Acts, 600 years before Islam began. However, the royal African dynasties knew something that many people do not practice today. Can you figure it out? I've given the clue already. In 1900, approximately 76% of sub-Saharan Africa was animistic. Approximately 15% was Muslim and 11% Christian. Today, approximately 16% plus of black Africans are animists. 48% plus are Christians, and over 32% plus are Muslims. Ask yourself, is Islam or Christian the original religion of ethnic Africans? Has it ever been the major religion of the black man and woman? Today, being Christian is more African than being Muslim or anything else, because it is made so. It is all your choice for your own salvation. Please don't cringe because many still believe in mystics but deny it. Can you recall the communion ritual and why? The belief of walking on water and why? Changing water to wine and why? God engraving tablets and why? You get the picture? Please check the original geography to understand this. As for Christianity being the white man's religion, it was born in Asia and spread to Africa before it spread to Europe. Although it grew faster in Europe for many centuries, it is now growing much faster outside of Europe still. African, Asian, and Latino Christians have doubled in the past 25 plus years and now number over 1 billion. This compared only to approximately 730 million plus on average white, European, and American Christians in the recent past. Numerically, Christianity is no longer just the white man's religion. Confused? Don't be. It's now on you and your journey. If on your journey you really want to know, which roots are you trying to find or even care about to spiritually grow? Those who have never accepted their position as sons and daughters of God or truth may have comfort in identifying with their imperfect human ancestry. Brief history that helped bring this all together. The Balad al-Sudan for the region south of the Sahara, which literally translate as land of the blacks. The use of the taxonomic category labeled African American either in public, health, or other disciplines fundamentally reflects the historic and contemporary systems of racial stratification in the American society. The term African American as a categorical descriptor includes many different segments of the American population referred to as black or Americans of the sub-Saharan African ancestry. It is also a product of the group self-definition process in which African Americans have historically engaged as an expression of identity, power, defiance, pride, and the struggle for human rights. These designations were often in contradistinction to official government classifications and popular characterizations, which frequently reflected prevailing ideas about white supremacy intended to denigrate African Americans. According to studies from authors Betty Collier Thomas and James Turner, from the 1830s to the middle of the 1890s, the label colored American and the more commonly used word colored were the most popular terms. At the beginning of the 20th century, Negro gained considerable support as a generic term, becoming, by 1920, the most commonly used expression of race. Increasing dissatisfaction with the term Negro, most noted in the late 1930s, culminated with the Black Power movement of the 1960s, Who or what defines you is your decision if you're woke. Exposed. Worship of the sun. You might not know it, but the entire world has been worshiping Saturn for thousands of years. It has never stopped, and its rites are still present to this day. Saturn, dubbed the Lord of the Rings, is the reason why we exchange rings at weddings or put halos on the heads of godly people. Semitic civilizations referred to the god Saturn as El. The supreme deity was represented by a black cube. We can find instances of the cube across the world. The gods Elohim are angels, the messengers of God. When witches cast a spell, El, they put a hex on someone. El, Elohim. El, angel. Get it? When chefs deep frying something, they deep six it. It is the elites, who run the world today. Elite comes from the Israelites, El-lights, which came from the Egyptian worship of the moon, Isis, the sun, Ra, and the Saturn, El, Elohim. Hence Israel. Amun-Ra, Amen, Aman. All worship unto the sun, God. Study language, enlighten your mind. Jews and most Muslims alike worship a huge black box or cube called Kaaba at Mecca. The god Yahweh, YHWH, is known as the Tetragrammaton, meaning therefore letter four-sided. The Kabbalah of Jewish mysticism, masonry, comes from Kabbalah, or cube god, around which people gather and ceremonially walk in circles. Yahweh is the personal name of God in the Hebrew Bible, Jehovah in the English and Greek Bible. The form is modern scholarly convention. Hebrew scripts write it as four consonants, rendered in Roman letters as YHWH, due to the fact that most alphabets prior to the Greek alphabet did not display vowels and required that vowels be mentally pronounced in proper places. The most likely meaning of the name may be he brings into existence whatever exists, but there are many theories and none is regarded as conclusive by scholars. Thus it can be said they are circling the square. Masons are also constantly referring to circling the square and squaring the circle. Do you know what a square mortar board is? It's actually the cap that you wear when you graduate from any educational institution. When you graduate from high school, you come out processionally with a black or blue robe, or whatever color it is, which is generally black, for Saffron, the god of the Hebrews, requiring that you wear the square mortarboard on top of your head. The square mortarboards are, of course, used by the Freemasons for their plaster, so that is why you wear a square mortarboard when you graduate, ultimately becoming an alumni, Illuminati, alumni. Catch the language. It all has to do with Freemasonry. It all has to do with the control of education in this country and others. Jordan Maxwell, an author, lecturer, and radio host, stated it best in The Matrix of Power. First you pay out your tuition to get into the universe, where they strip you of your intuition and give you an indoctrination. Then you receive a master's Masonic degree, where wearing a Masonic mortarboard cap and a coat of Saturn, black robes, generally black or blue, to become an alumni, ALUMNI or ILLUMINI. Graduation means to increment or retard progress. If you sit back and really understand, even as Jordan Maxwell said, the true meaning of graduation is gradual indoctrination. Exposed.